ad spend is not an expense, right? It's a gas pedal for your client pipeline. The biggest mistake realtors make is setting budget before knowing their numbers. Your ad budget should match your experience level, not your ego. Where you advertise changes how much you should spend and what you should expect in return. If you set your budget based on emotion, you will fail. Guaranteed. You're not spending the right amount basically until leads flow, book, and close. In short, don't scale up if your back end is broken. Guessing your budget costs you money. Knowing your budget makes you money. If you're guessing your ad budget, you're gambling, not marketing. Most realtors have no clue how much to spend on ads, right? Some lowball it, hoping $100 will change their life. Others will overspend and panic when nothing actually converts. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to figure out what you should be spending and how much you should be spending on based on your goals, your market, and ultimately your lead quality. So how much should realtors spend on YouTube ads? In today's Mario board, I'm basically going to detail exactly why this is. But before we dive too much into that, and you're probably wondering, who is this British guy? Why does he know so much about US real estate and basically high converting ads and funnels? Well, my name is Dylan Kirk. I'm the CEO and founder of Estato. And we basically pride ourselves on building YouTube advertising systems that boast quality instead of quantity, right? I know a lot of companies out there will promise 100 leads and hopefully maybe a couple of them convert. For us though, it's about minimizing leads, but hyper focusing on quality, what your ICP truly is, and focusing on that. Not just generalizing and making cookie cutter systems for people, but instead actually personalizing it from realtor to realtor. So that's basically what we're doing there. So yeah, how much realtors should spend on YouTube ads without wasting a dime. So ad spend is not an expense, right? It's a gas pedal for your client pipeline. What I mean by that is, so ad spend is not an expense, it's customer acquisition fuel. So you're not buying leads, you're buying opportunities like conversations, right? Your ad spend should match your business goal, not your bank account comfort zone, right? Like think of it like this. So how many conversions do I need or conversations do I need to close 1 or 2 deals per month? Like reverse engineer it. Once you know that, your budget becomes a math equation, not a guess, right? So as I say here, how many conversations do you need to hit your goal? Don't match your budget to comfort, match it to your pipeline need. If you focus your business entirely based on comfort, I will be surprised that, number one, you got it this far, but 2, where you plan to go. I'll be surprised if you manage to scale. Because we grow on comfort or discomfort, right? We grow through discomfort. If you just go through, I mean, in general, like I'm not preaching anything, because I'm a young guy myself, but if you're going through life and you're doing it based solely off comfort, you're not going to get anywhere, full stop. Well, if you do get somewhere, it's not going to be where you truly want to be. I didn't mean to get that deep, but that's basically the gist of why you should focus on that. And just a quick shift there. Ad spend is not expensive. So ad spend, it's expensive or it costs a lot of money. Why am I doing this, right? Ad spend, on the other hand, is investment in your pipeline, right? If you actually want to grow, ad spend is going to be nearly a must, right? I'd say basically a must. So number 2 is knowing your numbers, right? The biggest mistake realtors make is setting budget before knowing their numbers. Let's break this down backwards, right? So you got lead, appointment, client, closing. So you use reverse math, for example, need 2 closings per month. You need, let's just say 4 clients, right? 4 clients, it's about 10 appointments, considering you have like a decent closing rate. 10 appointments is about 30 leads, right? So we've now worked out you need about 30 leads per month in order to close 2 clients, right? So if you plug in real numbers, so cost per lead benchmark, YouTube leads average anywhere from $10 to $25. For us, it's about right. I'd say 14 to 20 is more us, but that's cool. That's pretty fair to say. It really depends on your location, offer, and stuff like that. You can have a safe buffer if you plan around $20 per lead, unless proven otherwise. Right, $20 is a decent benchmark. I would say that as you've done well or you haven't done well. If you go slightly over, it's not the end of the world, but around 20 is your go-to, right? I'd say use $20 to be safe. So monthly volume target, leads need, so 30, as we said, 30 leads per month times $20 is your base budget. So about $600 based off that. So I see here, $600 should net you about 2 clients per month. Now, this isn't to say that because you put $600 immediately out the gate, you're going to get this back, right? That's not how that works. I think anyone who's ran ads for more than probably a week understands that that's not how ads work. Ads is progressive. The first month of advertising is always the worst, so do not be shocked if you don't get that in your first month, right? So this gives you a data-driven starting point. It's not a gut feeling. It's not, oh, I probably need about 400 bucks. You actually have to work it out like that. So next up is the budget by stage. So your ad budget should match your experience level, not your ego. So let's be real. If you're new to YouTube ads, don't bump up to 2K in 1 month or anything like that. There are 3 realistic budget phases. I mean, if you are bumping up to 2K, first of all, congrats. You've got a better mindset than most of the realtors I talk to, but they want to be on referral basis only. So you're already doing well there. You're ambitious, so I like that. But yeah, so beginner budget. You're looking at something at $300 to $500 per month. So essentially what you're doing here, you're buying data, you're buying tracking, right? You're learning what works. Your offer, creative, and landing page. Expect inconsistent results though. Like, do not go out the day, as I say, do not come out the gate and think, oh, I've put $1,000 in ad spend, I'm going to get 3 or 4 deals back, right? Not how that works. We just expect inconsistent results. That's the normal. Don't aim for it, but that is normal. So as I go through here, you want to look at your CPC, your cost and stuff like that. Just an example of what that looks like in the Google Ads dashboard, right? And also if you want a general overview of how this funnel looks like and basically how you should see your marketing funnel, this is how you should see it. So with that $600, for example, this is how you should look at it. 30 leads, 10 appointments, 4 clients, 2 closings, right? Really, really simple there. Next up is your intermediate budget. So this is somewhere in the range of $750 to, I want to say, $1,500 per month, right? You've got a validated funnel, you know what works. It's time to scale up, right? You're dialing in your targeting and improving your cost per lead. So everyone, and this is where a lot of people kind of fall out. People get to the beginner budget stage. Very rarely will you find people go to the immediate budget stage, but that kind of separates people who are, not like the most experienced marketers to top producing agents, right? Marketing is a essential tool to business. It's not something you can beat around the bush on. It's an essential part. Promotion is part of your business. The amount of people that try and swerve around the fact they have to promote their business is kind of silly, right? I know some people get into real estate for different reasons, but if you're trying to scale your business, promotion is something you cannot ignore, right? It's one of the things as well, people who struggle to even schedule half an hour a day for lead gen. It's really basic question. Are you trying to scale or are you just happy where you are? Number 1 here is pro budget scaling. So this is the big one. This is the big boy, right? 2K to 5K I'm recommending for this one. $2,000 to $5,000 per month. So this is where you've built a machine. Like, you're just feeding it more fuel, split testing for efficiency, and just making sure you're right there, right? Obviously, you want to pick your tier based on confidence in your systems, not just ambition. So I would actually give a timeline. In the beginning, I would even give you, if you're by yourself, 6 to 12 months, beginner budget. Once you know what works, you start tracking well, I go up to here. So by the end of year 1, you want to be in the intermediate budget. And then I'd say probably another 6 months from that, maybe a bit later, 6 to 8 months, pro budget. So basically going into year 2, you should be on a pro budget if you're consistent with it. Very, very stressful point there. Make sure you're consistent with it. Market factors as well that change the spend. So where you advertise changes how much you should spend and what you should expect in return, right? So here are a couple factors. So high competition markets. So we're talking about New York City, California, stuff like that. So you need a higher CPM, right? You'll need more budget to compete. So your cost per 1,000 impressions will need to be higher, right? As opposed to 100, right? Something like that. Your leads are going to cost more as well. Bigger competition. Your leads are going to go from $25 to $40 per, right? It's kind of a given that's going to happen. I need more budget just to stay basically visible. When it comes to rural or smaller markets though, cheaper leads but smaller audience size. It's probably going to take you a bit longer to actually get the leads, but your audience size can be smaller. Chances are people are going to see you more than once, but eventually they might convert. When it comes to luxury or niche buyer segments, you've got higher quality leads, a higher CPL, but a bigger payoff, right? Obviously, if you're going to luxury niche, your commission is going to be significantly higher than average, right? Normally, the average being like 7 to 10K. You're going to be upwards like 15. I've seen some realtors go up to 30K, right? It's significantly higher. So obviously, if you're not in the like Brian Serhant territory, you're probably getting like 50, 100K commission. But when it comes to this, your CPL is going to be higher, but you're in a different ball game, right? your CPL is going to be higher, but at the cost of you basically getting a bigger slice of the pie compared to where it is. Then these are going to be worth more, essentially. And if you don't want to figure out exactly how to get the CTR up, how to drive it up, this video on my channel really explains it, as well as a CPC, or your cost per click. So that's how to fix that as well. So mistakes realtors make, and it's all well and good to say like, oh, you know, I've tried advertising before, but there's chances are that you've had a bad experience, or you've seen other people have a bad experience, and you don't want to be like that person. Here's a mistake they've probably made and how you can avoid yourself, right? If you set your budget based on emotion, you will fail, guaranteed. And this is what I mean. So setting a budget based on emotion, not math. If you haven't reverse engineered it like we have before, if you picked it out of thin air, you're going to fail and sabotage yourself. Expecting $500 to replace prospecting completely. So that's not how that works. This is something, as I say, you need to build up over time. It's something you can see in the background. Maybe spend an hour in the evening just going over your figures, seeing what's working, what's not. Take notes of why you're not getting leads, or what's the biggest bottleneck, and go from there. Quitting after 1 week with no deal. Guys, you don't have tens of thousands of dollars to spend in your ads immediately. And even if you do, that doesn't mean you're going to get leads. The amount of people I see that want to spend like $500 per week on like an advertising system they haven't even tested, right? Because they think, oh, I'll just put more in. I've got no patience, so like I'm gonna put 1 week in, see if I get a deal. If it doesn't work, I'll see you later. Like that's not how that works. Just because no one's converted yet, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work, right? Or scaling too fast for checking backend. So CRM, nurture, sales, that sort of thing. That if you haven't got a concrete follow-up system, if you haven't got your automations in place and stuff like that, then there's no hope in any chance that you're going to be able to scale off that. Sure, you'll get leads and deals, but you'll be stuck, right? And that's a place you don't want to be in. Ad spend is a lot like lifting weights, right? Like you won't get jacked in the week, but give it 90 days with the right form, maybe the right coach and that sort of thing, and it works, right? Treat your ad budget like a business experiment. Like build the test, control the variables, and track the outcome, right? That's basically what you want to do. Here are the signs though you're spending the right amount. So you're not spending the right amount basically until leads flow, book, and close. Here's how to know your ad budget is actually working. If you're getting consistent weekly lead flow, that's a really good green flag. You can book appointments predictably. Again, a green flag. Consistency and predictability is key with a good ad system. You're hitting your volume targets from box 2. So as we went over, this is your target. We reverse engineered it. You're getting the 30 leads, you're getting 10 appointments, you're getting 4 clients, and you're getting 2 closings. You're onto a winner. And leads are quality, not just quantity. So it's all well and good to say you can get the 30 leads, but if you can't convert any of them, or they're all like window shoppers and stuff like that, you need to focus on quality, right? It's nothing to be ashamed of if you're getting low quality leads. We've all been there. You just have to find out why they are low quality and plug that hole. Maybe add a form or make your CTA a bit more strict if you can. Higher cost per lead as a base of that, given, but as a result, you're going to spend your time on things that actually convert. You're going to free up the time. One of the biggest things a lot of agents struggle with is lead gen. A lot of them don't have time for it. So if you can get your lead gen to basically be on autopilot, again, not in the beginning, but essentially getting to a point where it can be on autopilot, you'll do fantastic. So when does it increase or decrease the budget? In short, if all 4 of these things aren't happening, it's a signal that something's off. Either it's your ad spend, it's your targeting, or it's your funnel, right? But if the leads are flowing and you're talking to real people, like you're in the game, man. Like it's about refining. So when does it increase or decrease the budget? So just to give you a general gist of like, well, Dylan, I am doing well, but I'm not sure about increasing. Or Dylan, I'm not really seeing the results. Should I decrease or should I pause? Right? So in short, don't scale up if your back end is broken. You should increase your budget if you book 70-80% of your lead target. Significantly high booking rate, you're onto a winner. You have 1 to 2 week buffer in follow-ups, right? So if you've got that and it's going through and everything's okay with the follow-up system, then yeah, feel free to increase. And you validated the landing page and the offer. And this is a mistake that I've actually made myself, where I've scaled up too fast. Appointments were being booked in 2 or 3 weeks in advance, right? Sounds like a great thing, right? You've got a lot of people who are interested. But the problem that you're then seeing is that because they're so far away, like they booked in 2 or 3 weeks in advance, and you've got that buffer of that, the chances are that they've lost interest by the time they're 2 or 3 weeks like over, right? They've moved on to something else. 2 or 3 weeks is a lot of time to wait for an appointment. So you've got a lot going on in that time. So just make sure that you're ready to scale. And that's a big thing. Don't scale though. These are big ones. Do not scale if you're overwhelmed with follow-up. I would maybe even pause it for a week, maybe pause, but you don't want to kill momentum off, so I won't pause for too long. Maybe decrease your ad budget. Leads are unqualified. Check your offer page first. So again, decrease, I would say, because if you're getting a lot of unqualified leads, don't waste money on unqualified people. Decrease is your CPL has spiked or your conversion has dropped. So if you've got these two, if you've got a high CPL but your conversion rate has dropped, chances are there's something that's a bottleneck in your system. Whether that be your appointment booking page, your opt-in page, or something like that, your cost per lead has spiked and you need to figure out why. So it's really rare that I would say to pause it, because you need the data to really tell you what's working and what's not. So decreasing is probably my ideal. You'll take a bit longer to figure out like exactly what's working and what's not. But regardless, you need to spend money to at least get your data. You're spending money to get data, essentially. You're spending money to track and find out what's working. You're spending money to test. But you basically want to pause or reduce temporarily to at least fix the leak, right? Scaling garbage faster just gives you more garbage. Really quick math for you there. And if you want to figure out how to actually split test your landing page properly, how to find out what's a winner and what's not, that's a really, really great example there, right? So that really works there. So in short, guessing your budget costs you money. Knowing your budget makes you money. In short, to take away from this video, start with the math. Work out what your ideal is and reverse engineer it. So 30 leads, 10 appointments, 4 clients, 2 closings. Maybe you want 50 leads, 20 appointments, 6 clients, 4 closings, right? Just really, really get off the math there. Align spend with lead targets, not feelings. So you want to make sure that you're actually following your business's direction and not going off hunches, dreams you had at night, anything like that, right? And track results and scale only what works. Like, start small and scale based off results. Match your market as well. Match your skill, match your systems, do everything like that. If you are consistently booking quality conversations, you're spending the right amount, and you're probably in a position to scale to intermediate budget or pro budget to scale up, right? So if you want help calculating your actual ad spend, building a funnel, or scaling what's working, we do this with agents every single day. You probably saw that from the website I showed you. You can check out our reviews page as well, really, really easy there. But there's a link below to book an appointment in with me. You can also check it out on Instagram. If you DM me deals, then I'll be able to book in an appointment and get this sorted out and basically see what we can do with you and basically try and scale you up is the main thing there. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. If you have any questions or queries or concerns, drop a comment below and I'll get to it. But yeah, that's everything. See ya.